Man, I can't believe it's already the last day. 3 months flew by like that. I've been out here in Hollywood, Florida playing poker for the last 3 months. And at our lowest point, we were at 5,500. At our highest point, we were at 50,000. Today's the last day, so at the end of this video, I'm gonna go over my stats for the trip, my hourly rate for each stake that I was playing out here, as well as all my expenses that I had to spend out here, as well as all my expenses, and give you guys a total of where we ended up being. Some of you guys know last year was tough. The goal this year is just to grind and build the bankroll back up. And at the end of this video, you guys will find out where I'm at. And I'll also share some news of where we're gonna be going in the future. I hope you guys have enjoyed the journey so far of me playing out here, because I know I have. And I really appreciate all your guys' support, because I wouldn't have been able to keep continuing making these videos without you guys. So thank you. Give this a thumbs up. Give this a subscribe if you have liked the journey so far. I'm gonna go on a small pause of the action after this video, taking a little bit of a break, probably only 2 weeks, so not too long. But yeah, let's get to it. We're at the gym right now. Even though it's the last day, we still keep grinding. And I'll see you guys at the tables. I'm gonna be grinding the 2-5 today. See you guys there. I don't wanna have to feel like I need to grind on my last day. So in this session, I'm just gonna have some fun and play a few hands for a couple hours and then call it a day. I sit down with $1,000 ready to battle at the 2-5. I'm about 10 minutes into this session, so I have absolutely no player reads other than a few people that I've recognized from playing with the whole trip. And I look down at Ace King offsuit under the gun and open it up to $15. +1 makes the call, cutoff makes the call, button makes the call, and it's on the big blind player, and he reaches for a 3-bet, but it's a super small size. He goes to $60 here. So when the action's back on me, I take a look at his stack and see he only has around $450 total. So I think about 4-betting to like 150, but I decide that all in is probably gonna perform better here. So I jam all in and it folds back to him. He doesn't love it, but ends up making the call. I'm now hoping that he has a hand like ace queen or something like that. I have absolutely no idea what this guy's doing. Maybe he's got 4-6 suited. Who knows how crazy this guy is? I've never seen him before. We end up running it twice and I flip over my hand. He flips over his hand. I take a look at the board and I realize that he's gonna scoop both boards with king jack suited here. He hits a flush on one board and then he hits top pair on the other board. So we're gonna start off this session with a decent size loss and it's not looking too good, and I'm happy I'm just picking a short session today to play. The next hand I look down at king queen offsuit and open it up from the hijack position to $25, but no one ends up making the call, so we're just gonna take down this pot. You guys asked me to keep these small pots in, so why not keep a few of these? If you like to watch these, put it in the comment section and let me know. But I'd also be interested to know the other side of people who don't like to see hands like this. The next hand we look down at though is pocket tens, and we're in the cutoff. I open it up to $25 because there's a straddle. You could argue to go to 30 here, but I usually do. I don't know why. I wasn't in my right headspace in this game. I just thought I would have some fun today. Maybe I had some sort of table read dynamic where it's like I felt like the players were going to 3-bet too much to my left, so I decided to open smaller with my entire range in this session. Who knows what the case may be? Is probably that. This was filmed 2 months ago, so it is hard to remember that exact detail as I don't have it written down. But we end up getting called by the big blind player alone, so we're going to head off to a flop heads up. The flop comes out 10 of clubs in the window, ace of diamonds, and 6 of diamonds. So we flop middle set and a heads up pot. Pretty good case scenario. He checks it over to us, and I'm gonna go for a range bet here because this guy's a thinking player, so I would assume against a range bet he might get extra aggro, and I would assume his range has a bunch of underpairs calling from the big line, so I don't mind keeping those in, hoping that they hit a set on future streets. So I bet 20 bucks and he ends up making the call. The turn comes to ace of clubs, and again, given that he called in the big line, I don't think he's got many ace-x. So when he checks it over to me, I actually think that his range consists of a bunch of underpairs and flush draws and straight draws. So I would actually hope that those hit the river. And so I don't want to price him out by betting big. And I don't think he's got much ace-x here. So I decide to play a really weird strategy here and check it back, hoping for him to realize his entire equity with hitting a flush on the river or some sort of set or some sort of straight that he's floating the flop with. I just want to make sure that if he's got like a gut shot or something, he's got the best chance of hitting it. So I check it back. By the way, guys, I do not like this play at all. I should 100% just be building up the pot. It's too strong of an assumption to think that he doesn't have much ace-x here and deviate. I should probably just be putting money in the middle, hoping he has an ace or some sort of nut draw that he's never folding, build the pot up. So I actually do not like this play, but based off of the range analysis, if I am right, this is probably going to perform better. But yeah, you guys can let me know in the comments what you think about this. And we're headed off to a river. It comes out the 4 clubs. He now leads for $65, which is good for around 66% pot. And when the action's on me, of course, I am not calling here. And the backdoor flush gets there, which is interesting. He could definitely have some of those with like straight draws that get there with the backdoor flush. So how big do I want to go here? Does he ever think that I would check back the turn with a full house? It seems kind of crazy, especially on like a draw heavy board, to do that in position after betting the flop super small. I can see him thinking that I would do this with aces, but I mean, that's one hand. So I think that I want to just try to go for the max of what I think a backdoor flush would call. And I think that's around 300. You guys can definitely argue that I can go bigger here to try to get called by like the nut flush or stuff like that. But I mean, that's like praying. How many nut flushes does he really have where he floats the flop, right? It's going to be a lot of like backdoor straight draws or like king 6 of clubs, for example. It's like the only one. So I end up going $300 here, and it's back on him. He tanks for a little while. He doesn't love it. He's pretty upset. He thinks that I am trapping some sort of full house by the speech that he's giving out. So there's another reason why I probably shouldn't be checking back the turn, because players still will put you on that full house when you raise river big. But he ends up calling, and I flip over my hand. We are good, and he's not too happy and flips over king 6 of clubs for the nut flush draw. So I'm a little bit upset at myself, because obviously if I bet the turn, he's never folding. And then if I go like 400 or 500 on river after betting maybe like 75 on the turn, he's probably never folding, but maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe we got paid the max here based off how we played it, but we'll never know. Anyways, moving on. We got 3-4 clubs on the button, and I open it up to $30. This is a premium on the button, so we are obviously going to be raising 100% of the time with this hand. And it's small blind who ends up going to 75 with a tiny 3-bet again. This is just so strange to me. I don't know what to think about these 3-bets, but when it's back on me, when you're getting such a great price, you're supposed to call way more often and actually 3-bet a little bit tighter, or sorry, 4-bet a little bit tighter in certain scenarios. So on this one, I'm obviously just going to be making the call. I'm never folding. If I had deuce 4 of clubs, I'm not folding either. I make the call, and the flop comes out ace of clubs, 5 of diamonds, 6 of spades. He checks it over to me on this board, which I found a little bit interesting because it's an ace high board and he was the 3-better. So maybe he's got some sort of middling under pair like pocket 9s or something like that. But when he checks it over to me, I think that his range is a little bit weak and I want to get some more information, and I have a pretty nutty draw. So with all that in mind, I think a bet of $40 is going to find out exactly where we're at. If he raises us, he probably has like ace king or something like that, ace queen. And if he calls, he probably has some sort of under pair or maybe even a king high holding. So I bet $40 and he makes the call. So now we put him on that range. Turn comes the 10 of spades. This isn't great because he can definitely have pocket 10s. And he ends up leading, repping pocket 10s for $125. I'm obviously going to be making the call here with my straight draw. So I call. And the river, hoping for a 7 or a deuce. It does not come. It's a jack of hearts. So some of the draws miss, but some straight draws get there. And on this card, he decides to check it over to us, which I found quite interesting. Maybe he does have a hand like pocket 9s, or maybe he does have a hand like pocket queens. Or maybe he's just got a weird hand like king 10 where he studied a couple things recently and found out he's supposed to 3-bet hands like king 10 suited, but just doesn't know how big he's supposed to do it. So who knows how, like what this guy's doing here or what his range looks like, but I have 4 high and I have 0% chance of winning this pot, so I am going to throw a bet out. Now it's a decision of how big do I want to go. Well, if he has some sort of ace-x holding and I jam all in, he's probably just going to call. And if I bet like 300 and he's got an ace-x holding, he's probably just going to call. But if he's got any of those other hands like king, jack, king 10, who knows what this guy could have, or queens or kings, I think a bet of 400 probably just gets the job done. Guys, take a look at this flop. Remember, I bet it, he called, and then take a look at this turn. He led into me pretty large, I called. So I could have a lot of strong hands here, 2 pairs, straights, etc, etc, etc. So I bet $400 and he tanks for a little while before making the fold. So we get our bluff through, and that is music to our ears. I do not know what this guy had. Let me know in the comments what you think he had here. Maybe queens, that would probably make sense. He's just like setting his price on the turn. I don't know. Guys, remember, I'm just having fun this session. I look down at queen 8 suited in the small blind. There's 3 limpers for $10 because there's a straddle, and I go to $75 looking to take down this dead money, steal this dead $40 that's in the middle right here. Actually 45 because of the big blind. And it ends up folding back to the first limper, who ends up limp re-raising us to 165. He's got a full stack. So when the action is back on me, I decide to make the call here because it's a pretty small sizing, and we obviously have outs. We're playing deep. If he's got aces and he showed me it, I might still call. It really depends on how big he bets flop. I don't really know what his strategy is, but if I know that he bets like pot on most flops with aces or kings, then I'm probably just gonna let it go. But you know, guys, like I said, I'm having fun. This is not a good play. I probably out of position here should just let this go against like the strongest range. So we're headed off to the flop, and it's the 9 of diamonds, 3 of spades, 5 of spades. So we end up flopping the queen high flush draw, which if we hit it, I think we're good 100% of the time, unless he has obviously ace king of spades. But there's so many other combos that I shouldn't be worried about just one that could beat us flush over flush. I check and he bets $150. I obviously make the call. I see zero merit in raising here. Of course we get ace king to fold, but not many people take the limp re-raise with ace king. It's mostly just like aces and kings. So I just make the call here, expecting that I'm beat most of the time. And the turn comes out the 7 of diamonds. I check it over to him again, and he thinks about it for a little bit and then sticks his entire stack in for $865. I snap fold. We are priced out at this point. We have the queen high flush draw, not even the nut flush draw. And based off of our equity and our percentage, we are just not getting the right price here. I look down at my favorite hand. Well, at least it should be my favorite hand because I have this number tatted on my chest. Why? Well, it was my number all growing up playing sports. I never wore any other number than 8. It's been my lucky number ever since. I don't really believe in luck and all that kind of stuff, but it seems to always pop up randomly. Like my unit numbers are always like 8 when I'm like Airbnb and stuff like that. It's crazy. Anyways, I look down at pocket 8s and we're in the straddle. Big blind opens it up to $50. There are 0 players in the hand except for us 2. And so when it's on me here, I have an easy call. But he opened 5x, which is pretty interesting. This can either mean he has a super strong range or he's trying to rep a super strong range. Heads up. Who knows what this guy's doing? He's not a studied player, so he could be doing some weird stuff, and I don't really know what to think about his range yet. But the flop comes out and it's 10 of spades, 9 of hearts, 3 of clubs. He continues betting for 75% pot, $75. So I make the call, assuming that I'll be ahead of some of his hands here. And again, we don't really know what he's doing. We're in position. It's blind v blind. I have a pair. I'm not folding yet. The turn comes out the 10 of clubs, and he now bets $150. And this is where I think, wow, I'm probably just beat here. He opened to $50 pre-flop. He continued betting on the flop for $75 out of position, and now he's continuing betting after I've made the call twice for a pretty large size, and he's recreational. This is probably a spot where I should just fold. But something tells me I have a little bit of intuition going here that this guy just decided to make a move and he's trying to take down this pot. I can't really tell you guys what it is. I don't know what it is fully myself. I just feel it. So I make the call, and the river comes out the 7 of diamonds. And now he checks it over to me, so I'm just going to check this back. I see no merit in going for value here. He would maybe call me with a 7, but like, no, that's just ridiculously thin. So I check it back, and we end up winning versus 3-5 suited. So I guess our intuition was right. And just like I said, guys, this range could have been like super strong, or a player just trying to rep a super strong range, blind v blind, or he tried to take down the pot pre-flop. and then decided, well, there's already enough money in the middle. I'm just gonna try to take this down post flop. All right, guys, that's not only gonna wrap up my session, but that's gonna wrap up my entire 3-month trip in Florida. What a journey, what a grind. It's finally come to an end, but I still had to drive home, and that was not as smooth as I thought it was gonna be. 10 hours of driving the first day, and then I had another 12 hours to go on the second day that I thought I was gonna be able to just do it all in one day. I know that's kind of crazy for me specifically because I've never driven more than 4 hours total in one day. On hour 8, there ended up being a bunch of dead deer on the ground, and it was starting to get dark outside, and I was around 4 hours from home at this point, and my car was rattling. With all of this together, I decided to just stop at the nearest hotel, which was around 30 minutes after I started to notice this, and now it was getting dark. Found a cheap hotel in a random little town, played some beanbag toss outside of a restaurant that I got some food at, nice tacos, and spent the night there. Woke up, car was still shaking, so I got it checked out. Ended up turning out that I needed 2 new tires, so I had to wait a whole nother 2 hours to get that sorted and get it fixed. And then I was back on the road, but thankfully I stopped because I might not have been here by now. Dead deer, cars, needs new tires. It's getting dark outside, 4 hours of driving. Who knows what would have happened. But yes, I am here. And immediately when I crossed the border, no problems by the way, I stopped at my favorite jerk chicken spot in Niagara Falls called Shook's. I love it. It's the best jerk chicken that I've ever had, and I've been to Jamaica, so speaking very, very, very highly of this place. No sponsor. By the way, guys, as you've noticed, I have 0 sponsors yet. Yes, I've been hit up by a lot of people. I want to protect my audience, and I want to make sure the people who I sign with, I actually have a deep connection with them. And I'm sharing something with you guys that is a benefit to you as well. So stay tuned for that because stuff is in the works. But let's talk about the trip's expenses. It ended up costing me around a total of $9K when I consider Airbnb costs, food, gas, and everything else in between. It was around $9K, and I did not splurge whatsoever. Maybe around $1,000 of that I didn't need to spend, but you know, you gotta have a little bit of fun. I just wanted to get that out of the way quick because you guys don't care too much about that. But if you do, hit me up on Instagram because I can answer more questions about your Florida trip if you're planning one. Free of charge. You're welcome, guys. But let's talk about my win rate for the trip. The thing that matters the most. How much money did I make? Well, I ended up making a total of $33,000. And again, I'll say it again. At my lowest point, I had 5K. My highest point, I had 50K. Within the first 2 weeks, that's when I got down to 5K. I know this is a lot of numbers, but try to keep up with me. I went to Florida with a total of 20K. 5K went to like expenses and whatnot, Airbnb costs for 2 months. And then I had 15K left to gamble with, and I lost 10K on a 10K downswing within my first 2 weeks playing 2-5, and I was down to 5K. Someone in the comments asked, did I drop down in stakes? The answer is no. I had a plan. I was probably just gonna go back to Toronto, my hometown, and get more money and then come back, or yeah, I don't know, maybe drop down to 1-3 for a bit to try to run it up to like 7K and then shot take it. I don't know what I was gonna do, but you guys were gonna see it all because I turned on the cameras immediately when the upswing started. And again, we ended up making a total of 33K, but hourly rate of around $76 per hour, pretty solid. And then I think 2-5 was an hourly rate of $60, as you can see right here. And then 5-10 was like 180 something dollars an hour. I only played like 50 hours of 5-10 though. Not too bad. I think in 2-5, if I played perfect, because I did make a bunch of mistakes that I noted and realized, I probably could have maxed out at like 70 to 80 bucks an hour maybe, based off of how I ran within that time frame. Not upset at all. I still got a whole year to go, and there's more vlogs to come, and my hourly rate is higher now, so stay tuned. And yeah, I just want to say again, a big thank you to everyone who's followed me along in my journey. And remember guys, I'm not just filming vlogs and sharing that with you guys. We're building a community here, a community of like-minded people who like to play poker and like to level up in life as well, hopefully. If you're following me, that's what I hope you're doing. But we also like to have fun. And remember, every time you sit down at the table, you are the captain. People fear you. You generate the EV. You're a crusher. Keep that mindset, and then off the felt, that's when you can be humble and study and learn more and get better. And I got plans to help you guys get better in the near future. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because the journey's not gonna stop yet. I'll see you guys in the next one.